Alright, so before I get into this video, I do want to say, for the next few videos, if it seems weird that I'm wearing the same shirt, it's because I'm pre-recording a few of these because I have a lot going on with work for the next few days, so I just wanted to go ahead and catch up with all the stuff. So these will come out as scheduled. It's just that the next few ones, I didn't count how many, maybe 3 or 4, including this one, will all be pre-recorded, so just to let you guys know that. The Wizard of Oz. What can I say about this movie that you guys don't know, like, other than interesting tidbits and a few fun facts? You all know the story. I mean, you grew up with it just like I did, although there are some people, somehow, who still haven't seen it, even though they're adults now. And I'm mostly referring to one person. She knows who she is. Somebody very close to me. Damn it, watch the movie, damn it! So I'm not gonna lie, I used to think that The Wizard of Oz was a perfect movie. Now, after watching it after a couple of years, and as a film critic, it's near perfect. There are a few flaws that actually did take it away from its perfect status with me, but I will get into those. And if you're wondering why this is in black and white, it's simply because it's just to honor this great movie. So I am going to review today the film that a lot of people consider unreviewable, The Wizard of Oz. So, just in case you've been under a rock this entire time, and again, you know who I'm talking to. The film follows Dorothy Gale, an innocent farm girl who's whisked out of her mundane, earthbound existence. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. Into a land of pure imagination known as Oz. So Dorothy's journey through Oz takes her through emerald forests, yellow brick roads, creepy castles, all while being accompanied by new and yet kind of unusual but very, very earnest new friends. This is a very colorful set of characters. They're all instantly recognizable, they're extremely memorable, and they're beloved by generations. So honestly, I will go ahead and say that from an acting standpoint, they're not very good. Okay, don't destroy the camera equipment, please. Not lady. Hi. You know what? I'm keeping her. Are you actually gonna do that every single time I say something that actually makes you mad?
Yes. You will not tarnish this beautiful movie.
Okay. Since she probably feels the same way that a lot of you do, just hear me out. Oh, I love all of the... You know what? You can have her back.
Yay!
There you go. While I love the quirky performances, especially for Dorothy's friends, and the over-the-top fun that I had with the Wicked Witch, during a recent rewatch, I did realize that their acting was pretty melodramatic. Hell, seeing Garland's performance reminded me of how I feel about every Jennifer Connelly performance that I've seen, especially when I think about it, Labyrinth. Now, some people have told me she's really great in A Beautiful Mind. That's fine, but I haven't seen it. So I'm just going to compare it to all of the other performances that I've seen of her, and I think she sucks. That's just me. You guys can send me hate comments a little bit later, but for right now, let's just focus on this. As I said, I still love the characters and the portrayals, but the lack of emoting is extremely noticeable, so I can't keep it out of this review. The acting just comes across as forced. And I know a lot of people tend to think that, you know, hey, that's just how people in the 30s were, that's how they acted. But, oh, hold on. I just realized my girlfriend knocked the camera. I think my girlfriend knocked the camera out of place a little bit when she threw all those things. But a lot of people brought up the fact that in the 30s people acted like that, like my girlfriend has, and I was even talking about it with my parents, who I loved watching Wizard of Oz with growing up, but even they said, you know, this is just how they did. And I've seen the original King Kong, which came out 6 years before that. It didn't have any of that. It just had stellar acting, and I don't understand what this whole thing is about the cliche 30s acting. So for the story itself, it's got some pretty... It's pretty good. There's a lot of memorable dialogue, with the phrase, Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore, being the #4 most memorable movie quote ever, and I think that's based on the American Film Institute's study. But, and it also has some amazing ideas in there, too. And I will always love this story. However, I have to point out that there are a few plot points. And because we're getting into spoiler territory, I'll actually change the format of my video, and you'll notice how I do it. So, for those of you who haven't seen this movie yet, again, you know who you are. Just turn down the volume and skip ahead a little bit until the change is done. You'll notice when it's done, but you have been warned. Okay, so let's just list the holes. And sure, some of them are considered nitpicks, but they were very noticeable to me, especially as I was growing up and started getting a bit more, I'm not sure how to word it, but I don't know, I actually wrote them down. I'm just gonna look off what they are, because I didn't want to remember all of them. Because honestly, that's too much effort. Okay, so when the house lands in Munchkinland, Dorothy looks out the window. Wouldn't she notice then that she's in kind of a magical, colorful land? Sure, it helps to bring up that iconic shot where it transitions from black and white to the Technicolor, but it just makes no sense logically. Here's another one. Why is there a bucket of water conveniently placed nearby for Dorothy to throw at the witch? Then another one is that the wizard is considered a good man, even though he sent a young girl to assassinate what is basically a political adversary. And hell, even Dorothy doesn't seem to question this fact. And the most unforgivable in my eyes. At the end of the film, actually, let me see if I read this right. Yes, okay. At the end of the film, the fact that the evil neighbor still wants to euthanize Toto, it's completely forgotten. What the fuck? Now let's talk about what pretty much everybody talks about. The visuals, the costuming, and just the set design. All of these are either perfect or just near perfect. I mean, if you need an example for the visuals, just look at where it transitions from black and white to Technicolor. At this point, Technicolor was already used to an extent. I mean, it had already been used for a few of the Disney animated films, like I think Pinocchio came out before then. I'm really not sure. I'd have to check again. But Snow White did, and then it wasn't even the first live-action one that did it. The first live-action that used Technicolor, or at least as far as I know, is the Errol Flynn Adventures of Robin Hood. But just the introduction and the transition in Wizard of Oz, shown in bright and beautiful colors, completely changed how audiences viewed cinema forever. And the set design and the costuming are just very well served with the Technicolor, or the use of Technicolor. And there's way too much to say on the subject, and I don't know how to narrow it down, so all I can say is, oh my god, it's fucking amazing in that aspect. I do have one small complaint about the set design, and it can actually be seen as a nitpick, but the problem is that I've noticed this ever since I was a kid, so I don't know, every time I see it, it really annoys me. But we all know that Wizard of Oz was shot on the old MGM sound stages. And each time I look at it, I still feel like I'm watching an entire world being shown. However, when the camera focuses on the yellow brick road as characters are following it, and they're starting to, they're off to see the wizard, and they're just skipping, and they're going along the yellow brick road, you can totally see where the floor ends and the wall begins. And it's just the painting. The paintings still look good, it's just that it always bothered me because I remembered as a little kid there were a few times where I'd be like, oh shit, she's gonna run into the wall. I know I said it's a small nitpick, but I've always noticed it and I never look for it. It's just very loud. Loud as in extremely hard to unsee. And the music. This is some of the most iconic music ever written, and it still holds up to this day. And I will just give very short opinions on each song. Over the Rainbow is great, the Munchkin songs are amazing, the theme is catchy and memorable, and the character songs, including If I Only Had a Brain / a Heart / the Nerve, are just really fun. Though I will say that I do have a bit of a bias towards the Scarecrow's If I Only Had a Brain, because that was the first one that I ever learned, and I actually don't think I learned the other ones. Actually, no, I didn't. Wow, I suck. Yeah. And don't agree with me, please. That just hurts my feelings. And I do feel like the Lion doesn't get a true solo because it's kind of piggybacked on by the other people. And then the later songs, though not as memorable, are still catchy and really good. Also, I have to ask, how the hell does Lion do this?
If I were king of the forest, teach me.
In the end, Wizard of Oz is still worthy of all the hype behind it, and I really do understand why it's number 10 on AFI's, or the American Film Institute's top 100 films ever made list. I still understand that. And I still think in some ways it is a masterpiece, but I just can't ignore the issues. So, what does Oz have? It has memorable characters, bad but fun performances, a great story with a few noticeable plot holes, groundbreaking for the time visuals, and they still look freaking great, wonderful costume design, stellar set design, and just some of the greatest music ever penned for film. I am going to give Wizard of Oz a 4 out of 5 reels. Thank you guys so much for watching and just listening to me ramble as always. Well, now's your guys' chance to either say that you agree with some of my points, or just completely, or if you want to scream at me for insulting your childhood, go ahead, just leave your opinions and answers and whatever in the comments. Also, please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and follow me on Facebook and Patreon, the links for which are in the description down below. And speaking of Patreon, I do actually want to ask you guys for some help. As you've no doubt seen, I don't have the best editing software. If anything, I have the most basic, and I really want to be able to give you guys more entertaining and better reviews, but I can't do it with the same caliber as a lot of other people like Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, John Campia. I can't do it along those lines. And I have found an editing service that would give me everything that I need. The problem is that it actually costs a couple $100, or I can actually do a subscription for 20 bucks a month, which is actually a little bit better. But the problem is I don't earn enough from my job to just keep piling bills on top of on top of everything else that I have. So please, if you can, only if you can, please donate as low as $1 to my Patreon account per month, and I don't know, you'll get extra tidbits into what I'm doing, and hell, you may even see a couple of videos early. I'll see if I can do that, and just you'd be helping support a new upcoming channel. And you know, once I get to 20 bucks a month, I will begin using the new software, and honestly, this would really help. But if you can't afford to give anything, that's fine. You just watching my content gives enough support, and thank you for that. But if you can help, please and thank you. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thanks once again for watching, and farewell until the next video. Bye. Oh, actually, I did forget. To my friend, watch the damn movie!